key message that we wanted to deliver was around how customers' buying behaviors are fundamentally changing. The impact of multi-channel and connected commerce, and what does that do for our industry, and how do we need to adapt the way we work together, and also making sure that we put the understanding of the customer experience and their needs at the heart of everything we build and launch. So increasingly, payments becomes a feature of a much wider customer experience, and in many cases you won't even necessarily know that you've paid or that you have to go through that physical action. So for many customers, the example we quote is Uber. I pay for my Uber ride by just getting out of the cab. And therefore, looking at how we integrate payment into all of these different Internet of Things experiences becomes a real interesting challenge for us. And that's why it's really important that we understand the whole customer experience from start to finish. I think one of the main challenges is that I don't think there's necessarily a widespread understanding either of the technology or the implications. And so the best example I can quote is authentication. Traditionally, that's been quite a binary process for many banks. Does your card number match your PIN? Does your card number match your password? Therefore, it's either you or it's not. But actually, many of the e-com providers have built passive authentication systems which are equally, if not more reliable, which are far less intrusive. So using things like biometrics, using device ID, using geolocation, using push messaging after the transaction, all of these things combine to give a much safer, more frictionless experience. But when you try to have that conversation with things like regulatory requirements, there's not a great understanding of that implication. And generally, people haven't put user-centered design at the heart of what they're thinking about. And what we've seen is that if you don't get that right, the customers will go elsewhere and the merchants will go elsewhere. And they have increasing, I think, influence over how transactions are conducted today.